Hello everybody. So the time you've all been waiting for, especially that man. The best man speech. For those that don't know, I'm Ben. I've known Damo for sort of going on 12, 13 years now. How time flies. You know, barely have known that sort of when I first met him all those years ago that I'll be the guy that stood up here doing a best man speech from at some point. So I'll be your best man for the day. You'll notice that rather covertly I went round and I put these envelopes on your tables earlier. Now if you'd like to open them up, you'll find a series of other numbered envelopes inside. Ooh. Now leave them closed for now. Their use will come apparent later. I'll basically just be, I'm going to hold up some bigger versions of them, but I was just a bit worried that the people at the back might not be able to see them very well, so I thought you wanted all the details that these, let's call them exhibits, have to offer. So, sorry if I seem a little flustered to start with. Just before we actually walked up here, Damo sort of came to me and gave me a little bit of paper and a £10 note of how he thought I should start the speech. So, we'll just sort of crack on with that. So, to begin with, I would like to say a few words about the groom. He is witty, good-looking, intelligent, charming, and yeah. Sorry, mate. To be honest, I can't read the rest of your handwriting, and I don't think I really want to hear this anyway. So I think we'll just crack on with my one, shall we? I'm keeping the tenner though, so thanks a lot for that. So Damo knows how much I like to waffle on, so I did promise him I'd keep this short. So we're all good to go. I'd like to start telling you all how me and Damo actually met and became friends. Even though we went to the same school, it was actually after this that we really got to know each other. Damo to me had always seemed quite a quiet sort of type, mostly enjoying Warhammer gaming, watching TV, sunset walks and such like. However, it would soon be his 18th birthday, and he was planning for a wild night out. So I got to know Damo through a mutual friend of ours, Adam, who's actually here today. We both worked at Sainsbury's. But at this point, I was still very much on the fringe. You know, I don't think he'd made his mind up about me yet. So I was surprised when I actually got an invite. But being young and realising that hangovers weren't yet a thing, I was well up for a night out, and I thought I'd go out and celebrate the 18th with him. So a few of us met after work, as was tradition when we worked at Sainsbury's. And being sort of classy, upstanding, and sort of members of the Spalding community, but also quite poor, we decided to sort of start the night off in the right way by buying ourselves a couple of cans of cheap lager and a bottle of Sambuca, and then found ourselves a nice park bench to sit on and start our night the right way, in the dark and slightly chilly. We toured around a couple of bars and eventually ended up in Shooters, which for those of you who remember Spalding back in the day, that was a wee bit of a dive. But to be honest, it was either there or loaded.
Classy.
Yeah, both very classy. And the night was going well, but unfortunately people were starting to head home either through too much drink or tiredness or a little bit of both. However, the star of our show wasn't yet ready to call it a night, and soon it was just the two of us left. Damo seemed a little bummed out by this, and in my slightly inebriated state, I came to the conclusion that there was only one way to cheer him up, and that was to get him a kiss off the barmaid. Damo, however, was doubtful, because if nothing else, she was actually sober. But never want to shy away from a challenge. I bought 2 pints to get her attention, and they started haggling. I honestly cannot tell you what I said that night. It was probably something along the lines of, it's his birthday, and just like, look how cute his face is. And somehow she actually agreed. Just a very small peck on the cheek though, nothing too wild. I excitedly revealed this information to Damo, and his face lit up. He got his peck on the cheek, we finished our pints, and we left feeling like champions, on top of the world. If you'd like to open envelope 1 at this stage, you'll see just what those champions look like at the end of that particular night.
Oh my god.
Oh, I can't see.
This was captured soon after we left the kebab shop by a friend we bumped into on the way home.
Ooh.
From this point forward, we were firm friends, and I felt like I'd passed the test and proven my worth. I fear, though, that I may have unlocked a hidden and long-dormant party animal, much to the woe of some of those closest to him. But had I helped him become less of a lightweight? That was the question. Maybe this next story will give us the answer. One Saturday night in sleepy Spalding, Jim and Jane were woken to the sound of someone struggling to get their key in the front door. I believe that's sign number 1. This was followed by the sound of Damien, struggling to cope with the difficult task of walking up the stairs. The sounds were intermingled with bangs, mumbled curses, and very drunken giggles. Yeah, that's sign number 2. However, the house settled down to a peaceful slumber until there was a sudden sound of rushed footsteps to the bathroom, followed by the unmistakable sound of vomiting. Our hero's parents helped him back to bed, and all was well until the following morning. Feeling fragile, Damien ventured out of his cave and downstairs, seemingly afraid of the light. Nothing was mentioned about the previous night until Damien was joined by a family friend, Adam Metcalf, for one of Jim's famed morning after breakfasts, which I can attest are phenomenal, as I've had plenty of them in my time. Adam took great delight in sharing some text that he'd received from Damien the previous night. Text 1 simply read, "I've made it home." Text 2, "Got to bed. I don't think they've noticed." These were followed just a little while later by a final text of the night. "I don't feel well." So moving on, I don't think we helped him really with his lightweightness. I think that still maintains to this day, unfortunately. So if you'd like to open envelope number 2. Those of you who know Damo well will remember his familiar mop top that was proudly supported in his younger, more carefree days, let's call them. And you'll also know that he's very passionate about his sports, especially cricket. I remember many a time of us playing down the park. However, they were always slightly pained memories, as more often than not, I would get hit in the crown jewels, and Dan would be left there laughing. I'm not entirely sure whether this was his good bowling or my poor batting, maybe, to be honest, a mixture of the two. But either way, he found it immensely entertaining every single time. However, you will know that his biggest passion is playing guitar. So much so, in fact, that he even found a way to shoehorn it into his own wedding. The guy literally never takes a break. However, what some of you may not be so familiar with is that Dan also has a penchant for a little bit of fancy dress. Now, if you'd like to open envelope number 3, you'll see this guy at a very young age.
Get those things.
Wow. And even Audrey looks absolutely wonderful.
Oh, someone get that boy a carrot.
And even though, to be honest, he always told me that he hates fancy dress and has always tried his utmost to dissuade me from it at every single opportunity. If you'd like to open envelope number 4, you will see that even though it's been toned down, he still has a flair for the dramatic.
God.
Enjoying it? Now, after let's just call them practice runs, our groom met Ruth. I remember how excited he was at the time. He would wax lyrical to me every time I saw him about how beautiful she was, how amazing she was, and that he really wanted it to go somewhere. And as he mentioned in his own speech, the only issue was that she would always call him mate, which he admitted to me crushed his delicate little heart every single time. However, soon after they started dating, being a persistent, intelligent, and logical young man of sound mind, he promptly moved an hour and a half away to Nottingham. Maybe he thought that absence would make the heart grow fonder, or maybe he realised that she might just need a little bit of a breather. This baffled me and many other observers slightly, but he was following his dream of running a music shop, and that in and of itself was admirable. I wasn't sure if the relationship would survive. It was still so young, but credit to them both, they worked at it. And if you'd like to open envelope number 5, when I met her, I was astounded that she was everything that he had told me. And once again, I found myself slightly baffled at how he'd found himself such a catch. I was also privileged when I visited one day and realised that that particular image had made it onto Ruth's cool wall. Very few of us end up on there, so great honour. And to be honest, I asked him once what his secret was with being away for all that time and her being such a wonderful young woman. And he turned to me and he said it was obvious. It's because he had a massive, what was the word you used again? Heart. That was it. And it was all the love that you had to give. To be honest though, if you'd like to open up envelope number 6.
I would.
When you see them together, you can really see why it works. Ruth with her little hobbit, and a mutual love of all things Lord of the Rings, Star Wars and Marvel. Now, at this point, if you'd like to open envelope number 7, I would just like to say how truly honoured I am to have been asked to be Damo's best man. From always looking our best, to drinking together, and also sometimes what feels like a little one-sided romance. I'm so happy to be here with you, buddy, and so happy that, like I say, all those years ago, that this is where we ended up. I'd also at this point like to thank Jim and Jane for putting up with me for so long and helping this friendship to blossom the way it did. Now, to be honest, I have many other stories I could tell you, such as having moustaches drawn on us by Frenchmen after breaking into a house party after an interesting van ride through Rouen. All the time he grabbed my hand, thinking for some reason it was a girl's hand that he had a fancy for at the time, and I had to very discreetly get rid of him. However, I won't try not to embarrass him too much more. I'm so happy for you both and privileged to be here celebrating with you today. So as my speech starts drawing to a close, and I'm starting to make a mental note of all the pictures I know I have to delete off my Facebook, it's traditional for me to pass on some words of wisdom. Now, not being married myself, I turn to our trusted friend Google, and with the help of a little present, from the lads on the stag party, I'd like to offer this to you now. So, Ruth, firstly, patience. He means well, and he will probably get there in the end. You just might need to give him a little gentle nudge. Secondly, if he sat quietly and looks deep in thought, he's probably not contemplating the world, he's probably just thinking about his next meal. And thirdly, remember that 90% of the time, you're right. And the other 10% of the time, you just didn't hear what he said. And for him. Damien, firstly remember your wife is always less likely to argue with you if you're cleaning. Secondly, a wise man definitely knows when to admit he's wrong, even when he's right, sorry. Thirdly, and this is probably the most important, never laugh at your wife's choices, because you were definitely one of them. And a final bit of advice for the both of you is that a good marriage normally involves two people, each of who think that they got the better end of the deal. Let these be a little bit of a reminder of the advice and your vows that you made today. I understand that this is what the rings are for, but to be honest, I know some people like to take them off in the bath. So even then, you're going to be covered. So finally, as we start drawing it to a close, I'd just like to do a few toasts, if you'd all like to join me. Firstly, I'd like to do a toast to the venue, and also you guys for being here to celebrate with us today. Cheers.
Cheers.
Secondly, a quick toast to the bridesmaid, Kate, and also the maid of honour, Rob, right there. I think you'll both agree that they look absolutely amazing. And also to all the people that helped, make this day sort of come together and happen. So cheers to all of you. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thirdly, I'd like to toast the parents of the bride and groom for raising two such amazing individuals Cheers. And lastly, those of you can, if I could ask you to be upstanding, please. No, for those that can. I'd like just have a toast to the happy couple. I think we're all so glad and proud sort of you both and to be here to celebrate with you today. So, cheers to Damien and Ruth Tyne.
Cheers.
Oh. So that's fine, we can sit down. I think that's got one last I know, there's one left in there, Damo, I know. So, honestly, the final thing I'm going to say, you can now open envelope number 8 on your tables. Thank you for listening to me. Hope I haven't bored you too much. Hope you found this as entertaining as I did writing it. But I'd just like to say a big cheers from me and the groom. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, have a great time and enjoy yourself. Thank you very much. Cheers.